think it's the null hypothesis.
Okay, enough. You know what? Get the out of here, you piece of lying garbage.
I'm willing to accept that that is your interpretation. I'm willing to go forward with that.
No, okay, you are being completely disingenuous and dishonest. Okay, do you think I'm fooled by that routine? That's
Certainly.
like what you just said. Most certainly, yes. What you just said to me was tantamount to saying, "Well, that's your interpretation." Let's make it very clear. Okay, when you invoke facts, okay, are they by implication created facts or not created facts?
Can you define what you mean by created in this
A
sense?
created fact is a fact that necessitates referencing the necessity of God.
And is there, like, on this view, there's no possible second option?
No, it's a true dichotomy.
Created or not created?
Okay?
Uh,
When you invoke facts, are
I'm
they
uncertain.
implicit? Are they no? Okay, that's patently absurd. You
A big
couldn't
part of my
listen.
atheism is
Listen to
uncertainty.
me. Listen to me carefully. Another deceptive dodge. You see, I have debated
Gotcha.
probably several thousand atheists over the course
Oh, I
of
know.
10 years. Okay, and I've seen all of the patterns of deceptions. Okay, and verbal misdirection. You're not fooling me in the least. Okay, now
I
when
certainly don't
you
mean to.
listen to me carefully, when you invoke facts, are they by choice without reference to God?
Yes.
Okay, then by choice, you are invoking that facts are not created. When you invoke facts, they are uncreated facts as far as you're concerned.
I'm
Are
open
we
to being
clear?
persuaded.
Are we clear that your position is you invoke that there are some facts by choice you invoke them without referencing the necessity of God? So then what
Yes.
that means is that you consider them to be uncreated, because if you didn't, you would then consider them created facts, which would mean that it's necessary to reference the necessity of God. By choice, you are without reference to God. So that means that when you go ahead, Parakeet.
I was just going to say, when you assert facts, you're asserting them as veridical. So if they implicitly don't reference God, for them to be veridical, God cannot exist in that world.
So you are invoking facts that are uncreated. You're not stating it explicitly, but it's implicit.
Can I ask my question now?
But yeah, before you do, so are we clear that you are by choice invoking facts that are not created facts?
Yes.
Okay. So you deny the existence of God categorically.
He's being quite polite, Darth.
Yes.
Maybe you should let him ask the question.
Go ahead.
If my epistemology has a lot to do with probability, and I essentially assert that I don't know anything for certain, it's all probability, does that change the calculation for you at all?
You have no grounds for probabilities. Your worldview doesn't provide for probabilities.
And I'm willing to accept and go down that rabbit hole. I just wanted to let you know that as I go forward, I'm trying to not make a statement stronger than what I feel that I actually believe. I understand that you're saying this is necessarily what I believe, and I'm just letting you know that even if it's inconsistent in my mind, I'm
So
thinking about probabilities.
your position entails the denial of God. Are we clear?
We're clear.
Okay. Now, how is it that no ultimate creator God exists?
I'm not certain that one doesn't.
Okay. Yeah.
Then how come you deny it with
Listen,
every word you speak?
listen carefully. You're either now you're stupid or you're being disingenuous. Does your position necessarily, by implication, deny the existence of God?
I don't want to offend you, and I'm just trying to be honest with myself. I
You,
don't want to
you,
lie to you.
you see how deceptive and deceitful these atheists are? Everyone in the room. How many times have I been over it with you? Okay. You cannot escape the line of questioning because I've worked this line of questioning out over several years. I've refined it, dealing with deceptive atheists after deceptive atheists. And you're just engaging in verbal subterfuge. I asked you a couple of minutes ago, does your position entail the denial of God? You said yes, right?
Implicitly.
Right. It doesn't matter whether it's implicit or implicit. You deny the existence of God.
But I could still be persuaded on it because it's only
Okay.
implicit.
We're not discussing that right now. See, I want all the believers in the room to take a look at this as an object lesson. How often do the atheists respond with, how shall I put this, diversionary responses trying to segue away from the issue at hand onto a semi-related topic?
All the
So
time.
you deny the existence of God. Now, what I want to know, since you have just agreed that you deny the existence of God, by the way, we should have had this issue resolved within 60 seconds. I don't know how long we've been at this. Maybe somebody in the
Can,
room can tell me.
can I
But
mention some minor thing?
I just want to know from him, how is it that God doesn't exist? That's all I want to know.
Well, before he answers,
My,
I just want to
oh, go
point
ahead.
out that
All right, go ahead, Parakeet.
we agree that you can repent. You said you can change your mind. Yeah, we agree. You can repent. That's why Darth is doing this.
Yeah, yeah. So, how is it that God doesn't exist?
For me, it's simply just based on I haven't seen enough demonstration or evidence that it meets the standard of demonstration and evidence for the things I believe in my regular life.
Okay, so so you're saying that God hasn't been demonstrated. How does that entail that God doesn't exist?
It certainly doesn't. I mean, it very well could exist.
Okay, well now you're contradicting yourself because you just told me a minute ago that your position is that God does not exist.
I do understand this is inconsistent. I know this is a problem with atheism.
It's worse than inconsistent. It's flatly a contradiction. Your position is that God does not exist. Now, how is it that no absolute creator God exists?
I'm trying to not make a statement stronger than what I actually believe. I simply just go off of
You
my
believe
sense data.
there is no God.
It hasn't been demonstrated to me, so I don't believe it. Yes.
That's a diversionary response, sir. That is what you call
Really don't
an
mean that.
atheist sloganism, which would be fit for atheist greeting cards. Maybe there might be like a Dillahunty press that might want to produce those greeting cards, maybe birthday cards for his parents. But the bottom line is saying it hasn't been demonstrated to me is a diversionary response. Your position is that God does not exist. I would like to know, how were you able to determine that no absolute creator God exists?
I find myself stuck in the sense data box, and it seems to be all I can use, and I'm just trying to use it as best I can, and with the rest of the consensus
That
of the
was
other people
nothing
with the sense
short
data around
than
me.
that was nothing short of a gobbledygook misdirection and dishonesty.
Well,
My
wait, Darth.
apologies.
I think he said that he hasn't there's not evidence via his sense data that God exists or something like that.
Yeah.
First of all, you've made a determination that God does not exist. I am still waiting an answer to the question. How did you determine there is no God?
Just based on my sense data and the way I assess other claims
How does your
that I'm not
sense
able to
data
verify.
how does your sense data necessitate that no creator God exists?
It just means it hasn't been demonstrated such through my sense data that
The
I've
fact
come
that
to
it
believe
doesn't
it.
okay, listen to me. Kai Nielsen, famous atheist author, he said the following statement. All of the reasons for God may fail, but it still may be that God exists. Okay?
I
The
agree
fact
with that.
good, then you contradicted yourself. You've just
To be
contradicted yourself.
to be fair, I've been trying to make that distinction the whole time, but
You
I
you
understand.
do you understand that you contradicted yourself?
Yes.
Okay. Now, we're gonna try this again. Simple question. Your position is that there is no God. Telling me that no evidence has been presented to you, it doesn't follow from that God does not exist unless you can show me that all facts are standalone with respect to God. Can you demonstrate to me that all facts exist without standing in causal relations to God?
I would have to admit ignorance on where the ultimate source of all
So
facts
so
are.
then so then you can't claim there's no evidence for God then, can you?
I agree that everything that we see, the majesty of the universe, could be evidence for God. Absolutely.
Okay, here's the
But you
problem.
deny it.
Okay, the problem when you say it could be, it means that you're presupposing that it is not, but that you're open to having your mind changed in the future. So that statement is a declaration that the facts of the universe are not evidence for God. Do you realize how I've caught you in your own words?
Uh, could you repeat that?
You said they could be, which means you're presupposing that they're not, but that you're open to having your mind changed in the future. That statement, upon analysis, is the denial that things are evidence for God.
It just means I have a different threshold than you.
No, listen. Do you realize that my bullshit meter has gone off the charts into the red zone by
Sorry.
what you're saying? It's total bullshit. And I've been very patient with you. I'm not normally this patient.
No, you have. You have.
Now, when you say no evidence has been presented to me, that means you've decided that these things don't stand in causal relations with God. But you haven't determined that. Do you know what all facts stand in causal relations to in terms of what is ultimate?
No, I don't know the origins of the universe.
Okay. But you've already determined that it's not God.
I feel that it's possible, depending on the definition of God.
Now, without repeating what you have said earlier, which are diversionary responses, okay? Are we clear on that? Without repeating what you said prior, which are diversionary responses, how did you determine that there's no God?
Sense data.
I I don't know what that means.
I just take in information through my sense data and I try to apply it to the
Yeah,
world with predictability.
you're repeating what you said earlier. All you simply
Oh,
did
you're right.
was
I did say that.
you slightly reworded it. So
Sorry.
you are an atheist. Atheism entails the denial of God, either directly or indirectly. Okay. Now, when it comes to the issue of the existence of God is the most profound question of all human existence. There is no other question that is of greater paramount. What's the word? Not paramount. So uh, more paramount. Okay.
Importance or primacy.
Yeah. I'm having loss of words because I'm tired. But you've decided that there is no God. So I want to know is, without repeating what you've said before or reformulated, how did you determine there's no God? Did you do so arbitrarily?
I looked at what were ultimately extraordinary claims and I looked for the extraordinary evidence. And
Oh my gosh. Somebody get me an air sick bag.
it's the cliche. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
okay. It is I mean, I just want to. Hold on. Let me empty my garbage can here, so I can throw up into that absurd Christopher Hitchensism. Do you know? Hold on a second. So
I think it predates it.
you say I know it is, but he was the one who helped mostly popularize it. So the invocation of God is an extraordinary claim and requires extraordinary evidence.
It's metaphysical.
Okay, notice another fucking dodge. I mean, have you no shame? I have been nothing but polite with you, patient with you, and you have no respect of being honest about your position. Now,
I'm really trying. I apologize.
you're not. That was a lie. You're an outright lying to my face, if you will. Now, you just said extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, right? Was that a joke?
No, I think God is extraordinary.
Good, excellent. Okay, good. Now, so if you don't believe in God, then is not God an extraordinary claim?
I think it's the null hypothesis.
Okay, you know what? Get the fuck out of here, you piece of lying garbage. Okay, I've had it. Excuse my French. I'm tired. I no longer have patience. Okay, another diversionary tactic.
It's like
what?
3 main cliches in a row.
Listen to me.
I know, right, Matt?
Day in and day out. And by the way, I apologize to my fellow believers. I'm tired. I shouldn't have sworn like that. I am just fed up with the pathological deception of atheists here. Okay. How many times did I ask fair, non-loaded questions that were clear, non-ambiguous, and how many times did I get diversionary responses? And then he says, but I'm speaking in good faith.
He wasn't.